Good evening, everybody, on the Wisdom app, Clubhouse, Instagram, and YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Welcome to my room under my club, Be a Pal. This is the club under which I do my yoga classes and also my evening rooms. From tomorrow onwards, however, I'm going on Zoom for the yoga classes so that I can be interactive with people and kind of want to share more in terms of yoga poses, breathing and meditation, lifestyle changes, and stress and burnout hacks from the ancient wisdom, and also the music library that I have. I would like to share with them. Some of them are therapeutic, some of them are really uplifting, and also the collection of books that I have over the years. I would like to share with my friends. So that's what I'm hoping to interact with people. So I started this club and put in a link on my bio and also on all the posts that I was putting in there. It's very simple. HTTPS www.bfhelp.net/, register. That's it. It's a simple register, and you will be enrolled in. And then after you is signed up, we are going to send you a Zoom link, and that way you can join me with the Zoom link at the 6 Central for now. We will change the times down the line, but then ship will be for the month, and then you will be interact with me live and send messages, and then so do yoga with me on the on the Zoom in an interactive fashion. Take our time and really so that we want for our individual problems, and also any disease specific also will be treated, will be addressed too. Uh, I hope my friends know about this and then come back and join me in the morning. Uh, Otherwise, I will talk to you all today about uh, the uh, ebook. I'm going to bring it up on Wednesday. This is about comprehensive self care. I wrote a small book about helping the burnout and stress victims with simple things that they can adopt in their daily life, and that will be very good for them in the long run. So that's why I put it there. So hopefully you could take advantage of that too. That will be released on the Wednesday. And Abhishek is here. Hi, Abhishek. Welcome.
Hello, doctor. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's going good.
Okay, very good, very good. So, yeah, I was telling people about this wellness club I started. That will be from tomorrow morning on Zoom, and also new ebook I'm going to release on Wednesday. You know, so a lot of things are going on with my courses, with my uh, books, and all that. So I'm bringing them one by one out. Okay, I have three books coming up. One is the next of this ebook, which is a big book for burnout, and second one is what's called stress management for excessive tension, mainly targeted to the IT professionals. And also there's a transformation course for the leaders, CEOs, president. You know, so these courses and accompanying ebooks, PDFs, and also the books are coming up. But it will take some time for them. But this is something small I'm releasing on Wednesday, and we'll go from there. You know. So you have any to say or ask or comment, Abhishek?
Yeah, I have one question I want to ask about the people who are like sometimes they're stressed because of any of the reason, maybe because of financial loss or a
Yeah.
relationship. So they are extremely stressed out and they sometimes they don't even know they are like
Mm.
stressed out like hell. So what step should a person to get
Yeah,
out of stress and
yeah.
like as because that's the phase which takes a long time
Mm.
if if he doesn't take the proper steps to get out of it. So
Yeah.
what a person do to get out of it?
Yeah, it's a question of perspective, Abhishek. You cannot judge people just because they have reacted, but you can help them how to handle that reaction by themselves without taking medications, without really taking anybody's suggestions. We can inculcate that kind of resilience from within. There was a lot of systems that have done years, but also there's a craze about this money and achievements and all those things were giving people too much stress because everybody expects them, and then like you or me or anybody else. That's what I mean. What I say, you also try to measure up to that, and then all that is too much pressure. Whatever difficulties we have it financially and all that. So to really encounter life situations, we need to get strong from within. you know there are systems you can do that. They may not do that kind of thing all of a sudden, but if you embark on that self resilience, that a long way. For example, if you get up in the morning and then really um, take it in your stride. Okay, what is it that I can do for today for this problem now? So if you spend your time like worrying or allowing the thoughts to go towards anxiety, worry, self, it grows like a monster. So instead of that, how can I be here and now? What is I can do here and now? That kind of thing can be cultivated, and then it's not like very difficult. But all you have to do is what is happening in front of me, do this, and then you will chop them slowly. That is in anywhere, even in a cricket match, somebody is behind the score. They have to start with something small and then build on that. There are systems that our ancients developed because they had to live in Himalayas and also forests and also very deadly wild animals and all that. So they developed systems within whereby they calm themselves down. For example, if you snake won't strike you unless you have trapped on, you stepped on it, or you have tried to hurt, or you're full of fear. Then it will strike because it senses that. But the people who are calm and quiet, they think that is a like God, and they kind of side and then allow it to go, will go away. So they handle so many things like that. But then the good thing is they have developed those qualities, whatever have we've observed, animals, trees, or whatever seasons, and also cultivated some skills that are easily uh, applicable to us in a modern life. For example, every day in my doctor's group were having a tough time, and they were reacting to the increasing load of patients and increasing cases coming, and we cannot save them. And there was one physician who's an excellent physician, but she committed suicide because she wasn't able to save many of the victims in the beginning. They had no vaccines, no therapeutics, none at that time. People were coming and dying very quickly in New York, and she committed suicide. Because her mind made her feel like she was, even though she was doing everything that she could do humanly. So understanding how a thought works, how thought can be controlled, how you can be non-reactive on that, all those things can be cultivated. So there are programs that people teach you how to handle the stress. Start with get him in the morning in the present and spend the day with that, and cultivate the resilience with so many things that we teach. And this is what I put the club for, because a lot of people have anxiety. Obviously, COVID has produced so much of economic strife, so much of problems in the relationship. And all. Nothing goes away, but then everybody reacts too quickly without really paying attention to the preparatory work for life that people have to take over. That's what I try to help them to find. So develop resilience by two things: good food, exercise, and sleep, and also maintaining a clean mind or a quiet mind. That can be done. So if you do all those processes, and line is a disciplined life. Something that you can do to be healthy and encounter all this, not only physically but also mentally healthy. Mentally healthy means that you don't get into the modern way of hurry worry or modern way of fight or flight or model just putting a goal and then forget putting the process, just focus on the goal and then worried about that because nothing is happening. So you have to focus on what you hear and now. Okay, so those can be developed, Abhishek, but it takes some time. And I wish more people take these things from the early to childhood and teach the kids. What's happening, more of these people are going on the Google and then finding answers. Everything has to be quick, quick, quick. Sometimes emotional matters, financial matters don't happen quick. So taking them into stride and developing the resilience inside and movement, all those things will help. Like to take a bigger way of looking at it, our Advaita Vedanta, for example, how to be really transcending the suffering, even if it is a big suffering, okay, big time suffering. And also, it allows you to cultivate this extreme blissful nature within, where you are calm and quiet, you are blissful no matter what it is. So there are great philosophies, great lifestyles that they have evolved. I try to share as much as I can, but people have to take it up and then practice them, and then they will also develop the inner resilience. Okay, Abhishek. Hello, Abhishek, are you there?
Sorry, there was some network issue. Sorry, sorry. I
Mm.
was listening, and for a last half minute, I was not able to.
Yeah, I
There
think
was some
it is telling me poor connection,
half.
but I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you hear it all? Did you hear
Uh,
anything said?
this is I was able, but last like around 1 minute, I was not able to. So I was
Okay.
just checking the connection, like what
Okay.
was like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying because there are so many hacks I picked up for our information overload, for our overwhelm here. Doctor's life is pretty stressful these days. Those resilience
Yeah,
practice.
absolutely.
Yeah. Basically, eat properly. We don't exercise properly. We don't sleep properly. We don't keep our mind. Those are the things I emphasize. Now, even the day busy with a lot of patients, I'm able to do that as a habit, and they help me a lot. So that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like today, everyone wants like to just if they are stressed out or whatever things, they just wanted to resolve it and just like things go very quickly. But that's
Yeah.
not the way. Like the things doesn't go quickly as they
Yeah.
want. They just want solution into the seconds or
Yeah.
into the minutes, and they just want like kind of a magic happens
Yeah.
and everything goes right. But
Yeah.
they
That.
don't understand that
Yeah.
there is a yeah, there is a certain process. If we talk about like any reaction or something, it has a process to go. It has certain time to
Yeah.
go, and then we get the results. So yeah,
Actually,
I'm
that's
absolutely
actually
glad.
what you are saying about hurry worry, and that is one of the reasons of increasing the stress. Not everything has to be done right away, this minute, and also instant gratification. That is also putting people in trouble. Versus, suppose you go to I go to the hospital, that or the clinic. We always say about delayed gratification. That means don't take a break, don't entertain yourself. First, to figure out what are the important work you have to do as a part of your job and focus them and finish them and then take a break. But I saw most of the people who do like that, they are very effective because they kind of do what they need to do, and then they relax. That's okay. Whereas other people who go and can sit in the cafeteria and drink coffee and come back 1 hour later, they are delaying everything what they are supposed to do, and then they get yelled at by the supervisors and all that. So that's why this principle of delayed gratification. That means whatever you do, first do your job, do your duty, and then treat yourself as a reward, whatever relaxation you want. That kind of works very well. There's other thing
Of
too. If you are
of
hurrying,
course, if you
yeah, if you are
sorry,
hurrying,
sorry.
let me finish this thought, then you can talk. Hurrying, what it is you are encountering you are really cultivating the sympathetic nervous system within you. That fight or flight syndrome. Not necessary for everything. It was developed to us so that we can, really protect us from that, all the wild animals, natural dangers, and all that. But nowadays, even somebody says casual word, we can allow that to activate. That's not healthy at all because that's a create of stress hormones that are not needed for the situation, but then they damage our physically, mentally too. Yeah, go ahead, Abhishek. You're something.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, I thought you were finished. So yeah, basically that thing only I was saying that people they just want to get the things, they want the certain things to go accordingly, but they don't
Mm.
want, they don't understand that for happening those things they need, like as you said, that you know, like schedule, making a proper schedule, doing the right things, understanding the responsibilities, and like setting out the boundaries and the somewhere you need to guard up, somewhere you need to release. So
Yeah,
just be understanding, having that basic understanding to how the, like, to understand how the system runs basically,
yeah,
like either it may be system of body of or your relationships. The most important thing, how does it works and how to,
yeah,
like, but I believe like everyone they want kind of adding a catalyst and just want to add on to just on the things, and they certainly go the high speed. They just want it to happen in the moments,
yeah,
everything.
yeah. See, the whole culture is speeding up, hurrying up, and then not really taking uh, some spot, some break into see, real good podcast they do is they kind of work with their hands, but the mind is silent. That means they are so involved, they're in a flow state, and they kind of say, okay, to do this month, for this week, for this hour, for this minute, like that, that focus, and that gives you satisfaction of completing of time, and thereby your cycle will be feeling better because you were able to do those things. So all these things are internal discipline. Don't let your mind go wherever it sees, controlling the senses so that they don't lead you into things that you don't want to get into. And then you see these movies and all the entertainment focused society, you get to handle it like, I'm going to come to the entertainment when I'm good enough. This having the phone in the hand us to be disciplined as it used to be in the society. Everybody is after gratification, likes and comments and all. That's one class I do. I don't know you heard about it or not. Decluttering the mind from this electronic onslaught that we have. Have you heard of that class, Abhishek?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to revisit that because I'm also an informatician. I need to understand the pressures of information overload and how we have to handle this social media. And more so now with this AI, artificial intelligence coming up, right? And that's where I want people to be in charge of technology rather than technology in charge of us. That is what is happening to a lot of people. They get some message, for example, they don't even read it, and they just share it, and then they feel like, oh, I shared it. You haven't even read it, you didn't even understand what that is about. So kind of fragility of thought good, because it will run more and more. So you got to have like a. I'm not going to check the emails unless I'm ready, maybe twice a day, and I'm going to respond to all the notifications all the time, and I'm going to only answer the people that I want to answer. That's what I do. Emails, ones that I want to do business with, that are important to me, only those I'll answer. Of course, the professional network where all my patient related will come, that's okay. But the social and entertainment and all these things, we can easily go away when we are doing the real work, professional work, office work like that, or even productive work, like doing these books. I'm focusing on them, and also I do come on the social media, but at my control. I don't come whenever, whatever. If you have a purpose, if you have a goal, if you have a plan for it, stick to it. All these disturbances are kind of, they will take now. They're at a breakneck speed, right? Everybody wants our attention all the time. So unless you're careful about it, they will like drag you into that. I would rather spend my time spiritual exploration and being in that samadhi and all that. That's a very, very nourishing thing rather than just being in the thought all the time. Like I'm now here. I want to talk with my friends. That's fine. I can talk this hour. But after that, I'd like to finish it off and then go and do my stuff and then go to bed and all. So doing at our own convenience is easy. If you say, I'm going to be simple, I'm going to be devoted to my duty or whatever obligations I have, and that, and then use some time for your own entertainment. Don't you think that needed?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I mean, we have to have the discipline to do that. Um, do you read the Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Most Effective People?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Oh,
I
that
haven't
book,
read it.
why I was saying, there is one diagram, Abhishek, that one, on the one axis, he takes what is important, what is important. The other axis, he takes what is urgent, what is not urgent. You want to do important, non-urgent jobs. So you have to list all those things according to the priorities and have them in the quadrant where it is important but non-urgent. If you are continuously doing that, then your life will be towards the purpose you want. That's the recommendation. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, check it out.
Yes, of course, I
Yeah,
will.
yeah. Graneshwar, welcome.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
Dr. I'm great. How about you? Thank you so much for
I,
asking.
I'm good. I'm good. As you can see, I'm having fun talking to you guys. So there are people on the
Yeah, I was
Instagram.
just listening to you and Abhishek speaking
Yeah,
on Seven Habits of High People. I have read it long ago,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, as you are telling,
yeah.
we have to prioritize our work. Yeah,
I know.
it is a great book actually.
Yeah, it's a great book. I met him personally too. So he's kind of Eastern
Wow.
oriented, and he was in Mauritius and created a lot of good work there. But people who have not have they together and they're driven by that particular tabular form gives them a focus. You have to sit down and write down what's important for you, what is urgent and what is urgent and all that, right? Most of the time, people don't pay attention like that. They just go by whatever comes along. Somebody comes and says, come to this room, they'll go there and then they may stay there and then come out of the room all wasted. And then 3 4 hours are completely exhausted with the social media. My own, they told me about it. That's why I'm telling you, so they don't want to come to those.
Yeah, because in my
Yeah. 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 Uh, yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 Actually, they think it's a management book. It's much more than that. It's more like a spiritual book. The human values first, and then we have to do whatever we have to do to be in our stand of life, things for the family, and all that, right? But he was also talking about spirituality. Actually based on Eastern philosophy. you know he was not being religious, but he was picking up on the wisdom of the East, where they said first things first, what is most important for you. If you take into the the stretch it to the goal, what said was, you have to realize who you are. You are not your body, you are not your mind. You are that self, that conscious being, Atman, whatever soul, whatever you call it. But that is really human being is. Being. Once you settle down there, everything will be very clear for you because your senses are controlled, your body is controlled, your mind is controlled. And then you will be able to really dissociate with a lot of things that are not really important. They call them viveka, discrimination between what is real, what is not real. And then you focus on the real. For example, your relationship with your wife and it's real, important, right? And you can work on that continuously. Your career, or your spiritual evolution inside you develop all those things. Tiffany, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Rao. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, any comments you have or questions?
Yeah, I just joined the room, so I
Okay.
didn't get to hear much of
Yeah.
it, but the topic
Yeah.
is
Abhishek brought up this.
like, yeah.
Abhishek brought up this point about how do we prepare to handle these stresses that are coming our way, economic, relationship, and all that. So I was presenting about resilience, how you can develop from within, and then you will be able to handle the pressures of the life with some guts, so with strength from within. I'm all about inside development because even the outward exercise also to make sure that we are inside very good. Actually, I'm doing this wellness club from tomorrow, Tiffany, on the Zoom, so that I can really like this. I can talk, but then if there's some breathing exercise or mission or yoga routine, or just talk to them much more deeply with their personal questions, I Zoom will be much better than just audio. So I also want to see people what they are doing. Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Janice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, I was doing yoga instruction since 1985, Gnani. I have been seeing people live in the presence, right? They used to come and just do it with me and all that. But then lately, I have been doing on social media here. People come on the Instagram. People the some of them come on the clubhouse and all that. Now I want more interaction between me and the people who are doing with me, and so I kind of opened this Zoom sessions from tomorrow. Actually, this is like a club I'm opening. It will be a monthly subscription that is there, but then there is a lot more we're going to bring in. All the books I have. I have since 1985 so many yoga related or spiritual related books. Maybe if I can present some things from there, people will like. And music, we have a lot of music. And also we have these interactive sessions where people really participate in the weekend retreats I do, like 2 hours one day or 3 hours one day, like that. Then we're going to present them yoga cooking, yoga way of really like Abhishek's question about that, and individual we brought up and we can talk to them. Like the other day, some lady, because she has this spiritual anxiety, so I had to work with her, and then after a while, she was able to settle down and take some take-home points that were useful for her. So it's more like a the service, but then there are people from other countries too. So we have to select a time which is convenient. I usually get up in the morning and then I do the yoga first hour. So that I was doing 6 o'clock. It's a very good start that way. And then we go from there, and you don't have to do much exercise, just do during the day. Even only this kind of meetings, I may sit down. Otherwise, if because I'm doing so many media at the same time. Otherwise, if I'm doing clubhouse, I will be walking around and talking or listening to it while I'm working. So that kind of thing a lot. But now this is a completely new phase I'm taking. Stephanie, I was also telling I'm
You're
releasing.
doing a great.
Yeah, I'm releasing
Yeah,
this.
you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
Doing a great job, Dr.
yeah,
Rao. You know, if you do yoga, all the body cells will be active,
yeah.
and if you spend at least it's 1 hour, you until 24, 23 hours will we
Yeah.
can do. And even if you're sleeping, it will be an effective sleeping.
Yeah, actually,
That
yeah,
will help
right.
in the internal development as
Yeah,
well as
you're right
how the
because
body.
it goes to the cells. There is three energies of the cell are ojas, tejas, prana. Ojas is the energy that stimulates your immunity. Tejas is the one which communicates cellular energy to other cells, and prana is the maintaining energy. So there's three types of it, and I go pretty deep on yoga, because yoga had seen so many things that we are working on now. For example, microbiome, the bacteria in the they talked about that way, and then they had yogurt and all these fermented foods and all that. You know, for example, you talk about sleep, they have yoga nidra. So you take any physiological function or anatomical improvement, yoga has a solution. I know from top of the head hair to all the way to the toes, nurture with yoga. For example, young women who want to have thick black hair or thick whatever hair they have, they can nurture the roots of the hair with certain massage, certain type of handling the hair with both hands, and they will get that there is an occipital frontalis muscle on the scalp that gets a real good supply by doing that acupressure yoga, and then they will nurture hair follicles where they have. So I can go on from all the way to the tip of the toes because I'm a physician, and also I went deep into the ancient wisdom. Most of the people are only doing a little bit of physical yoga, but yoga has much more to offer. I think we should explore and slowly land on yoga. People don't study as depth as it can offer. If you do that, I think you will be very, like I always tell people, I'm 66, but I'm not in any medication. You know, my energy is very, very good too. So I may be weak a little bit sometimes, but then I bounce back right away. So it's a question of
Right.
understanding the physiology anatomy. Actually, I complain about this because a lot of people confine themselves only to the physical yoga, which is a tragedy, which is really missing out on a lot that yoga can offer. You know, so that's how I have been trying to explore and tell people how they can use it. Um, the people are getting it and they are communicating more with me, and they are developing progress in their practice they have. But you have to know yourself, you have to understand your life situation, you have to take it slowly. These are not built up, especially something like a breathing. Don't push it. Allow the system to grow into it, and then you'll develop the respiratory efficiency. For example, for COVID period, I taught them how to do certain breathing exercise like a lion pose and shitali and all those things. They really enhance lower alveoli purging of all the secretions. They come up through the trachea, and then you can either swallow, you can spit it out. That kind of thing is very good if you twice a day. Then your COVID usually has affinity to the lung tissue, and it may not really stick there. Kind of pulmonary toilet we call it. Get the secretions out as much as you can. Okay. Is do you know what's called Brahmari breathing? Naneshwar?
Yeah, primary, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know,
Brahmari.
I know.
That one, you see, that clears
We
up
practice that.
top of the trachea, all the secretions, you know. But if you want much deeper, you can do what's called simha, lion pose. That's also very good. And there are other things too.
Okay, Doctor,
Mm.
sorry to interrupt. Doctor, sorry to interrupt. I have to jump into another club, our regular
Sure.
Sampradaya club, religious and other Indian traditions which we follow.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Sorry, I had to leave.
That's
Please
okay.
continue along with.
My
I will
friends,
join again tomorrow.
yeah, will come
Yeah,
slowly. That's okay.
you're great. You're doing a great job. Yeah, thank you so much.
So tell me,
Thank you.
you have the chance to ask me a question now. Nobody else there.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Val. Well, this is, you know, been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask you, um, what are some ways that someone that's dealing with diabetes,
Mm.
is there not like natural ways that they can
Yeah.
help themselves
Oh
with
yeah.
that type 2 diabetes?
Yeah. Type 2. Yeah, there is, Tiffany, because this is something brought on, even though gene is there. If you don't have insert like a poor diet and lack of exercise, that triggers this, and then it manifests as diabetes, and then it gets on its, and it affects all many organs from head to toe. But if you can really understand the disease, and then you can download the carbohydrate overload and processed flour, processed rice, if you cut down on them and switch the diet to more like a brown, brown rice, pasta, brown things. There's also much. Suppose you're taking pasta. Sometimes I was taking half a plate of pasta and half a plate of vegetables and all that. Now, what I do is I do one quarter of pasta, and there are three quarters fruits, vegetables, that kind. Then you don't lose out carbohydrate taste and all that, but at the same time be better off. So go diet, which is very very good diet. That's okay. You want to take low glycemic foods. That means they don't break up that easily. Like a brown rice, it has got the fiber and protein, right? So the diet has to be given top priority, and also walk, just have exercise, and also there are special routine in the yoga that are oriented towards pancreas that will help to stimulate insulin a little better. And the other thing is the muscles, if they are not having a good tone, will increase the insulin resistance. So you want to tone up the muscles slowly and steadily. That's a lot. Walking and muscle exercises and all of this pancreatic. Suppose like we cannot guarantee that, but if you do that, like I do in the morning, Mandukasana, Shashankasana, both work on the pancreas a little bit. So when you see my tape, you can see when I'm sitting down in the diamond pose, the first two thing when I bend at the back and get my forehead touching the floor, those are the two exercises that are very important to do, and they will help. And also there is like chasana, there are so many asanas there, but at least these two people do, they will get benefit. So pay attention to the diet, pay attention to the uh, activity, also sleep well. That's very, very important for the diabetics to recover because there is so much uh, oxidation process goes. You need to cultivate. Inflammation goes quite a bit. But if you really have a good deep sleep, that will be helped a lot. So it all depends upon how severe is your disease. But you can that's what I do. I take people customize things for them. Some people cannot do without insulin because they reach this point where they cannot function without insulin. That you have to give them. But then you introduce these lifestyle changes, and as they to that lifestyles, you can turn this insulin slowly. Medications also slowly. And I have a lot of patients that have done that, but they have done a lot of homework, a lot of real effort in taking good diet and being very, very careful about it, exercising, sleeping well. And I teach them how to empty their mind before sleep and after sleep if they get what to do. All those things help. Definitely. Does that make sense? What I said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were a lot of great things. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dr. Rahul. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
This is what I do in my wellness club, where people can come. Uh, Not only if it's they can want to get sculpted body, they want to really improve their energy. I have what's called Anga Mardana. It's a 20-minute exercise. If you do it, you will not need anything exercise, but you have to be real fit to do that. And then I have ways for the elderly, frail people who can get strong with what's called micro yoga. Very little yoga they do, but then they get the benefits of that. So you can have variations between, and also um, not to take away the medications and all that, but to help them understand their disease and use the medications judiciously and get benefit of these measures also. Suppose you are eating well, actually exercising, and you are sleeping well, and you keep your mind clearly, you can handle of disease at any stage. But you may have to variation, you may have to according to your state and all that. But doing all things in the long run help you a lot. See, that's the problem with our current healthcare system. I was all fighting against this. I was always trying to prevent things, help people take some homework and do it by themselves. So I always promoted wellness in that way because I never wanted to lose my yoga background, which is focused on wellness. And when I fell off that, I got sick too. So I had to go back and learn what I learned, and then I implemented too. And later on, I was really sick. That's when I took it up in a big way. And then now, off of any medications, I used briefly, and then I did have to the last 5, 6 years. I don't have any medication. Tylenol. I take, So that is working out for me. Hopefully, that will stay like that. But I really enjoy the yoga doing. It gives me a lot of energy when I do the breathing, and it leaves me a lot of energy when I focus. When I get, I'm always in meditation, like I told you before. I don't have to sit down and calm my mind. Meditative. I don't have this extraneous thoughts coming into me all the time. There's somebody, a doctor wants to come up. Let's invite him. So I invited him. He raised his hand. Hopefully, you can come. Dr. Karthik, I don't know what's happening. I know it. Oh, yeah, there he is. Hi, Dr. Karthik. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Rao, sir. I am very big fan of you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine, sir. Actually, I'm doing my MBBS in China.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might have met you because people were,
Okay.
yeah,
So I'm new to Clubhouse.
that was okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have been here,
I'm from
yeah, for a
yeah.
year.
I'm from Andhra
And
Pradesh. Happy New Year, sir.
yeah, happy to you too. Yeah, Tiffany, there is a
So
pongal in our.
where are you from, sir?
I am from Guntur. India, I mean USA. You
సార్
know?
తెలుగు తెలుగేనా?
Yeah, yeah, Telugu.
ఆ! ఓకే సార్.
Yeah,
నేను తెలుగే. హ్మ్.
yes, yeah. Anyway, Tiffany,
సార్
we
మీరు మాట్లాడండి.
yeah, we'll tell Tiffany we don't keep isolated. We are from the same state in India. We come from the same language. That's what he is saying. And they
Ah,
there is a new year for us because this particular Pongal we call it Sankranti. It's a very nice festival. You have all these colorful things going on. They decorate the cows and then they kind of do a lot of good designs of muggu, they call it, in front of the houses, and they celebrate the harvest more like a Thanksgiving, right? A lot of crops come home and they celebrate the cows because they used to help them the cultivation before all these modern tractors and all that. They have used the cows. So this is a very very colorful. The girls wear very beautiful costumes, and then they make very nice sweets and all that. It's a festival. Each festival has significance, but this has more significance of how we are related with the nature. So I just want Tiffany to know about that. That's why I wanted to describe. There's so much more, but that's enough, I think.
very cool. Thank you, Dr. Raya. Are you guys speaking Telugu?
Yeah, that is what we speak.
Yeah, I have an auntie from Hyderabad, so she speaks Telugu as well.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, books are in Hyderabad. My sisters and brothers, they are in Hyderabad. Where are you from originally?
Very cool.
Okay.
సార్ నేను తెలుగు సార్ లైక్ ప్రకాశం డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ ఒంగోలు.
Oh
మీరు?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Prakash. Okay. My mother's sister used to be there. I used to visit that place, Ongol, as a child, very very young
యెస్ సార్.
person. Yeah. Way back in '60s.
అక్కడే సార్ యూ సెటిల్ ఇన్ యూఎస్ సార్?
Yeah, yeah. I've been here since 90. I never lost
ఓహ్!
touch.
నైస్.
Yeah, I never lost touch with India, and I think I studied most of the ancient wisdom because I'm here in USA and they're accessible to me, and I'm able to get them on the computer. Being a physician, I visiting a lot of places because time is a premium, right? But I was able to read everything on the computer or discuss people online. So those kind of things really helped me to understand that. And I took it more like a professional thing rather than just a hobby, and just wanted to help my patients and help myself and the family and all that. I'm happy to say that they have done so. You know, now I'm trying to get more people work with me, like my patients who work with me, so that they can get to see what I have to offer. You know, so I've been telling everybody this
నైస్
because
సార్.
yeah.
సార్ సార్ ఐ హావ్ వన్ డౌట్ సార్. లైక్ in I'm maybe not
Mm.
like AI degree is valid in like anywhere. I got
No,
this doubt.
no, United
US.
States, you have to
Yes.
take the exam, right? You have to take the exams, and then
Yes.
you have to get the certification. Then, according to the scores and all that, you will get the residency. And once you do the residency, you can practice or work in the hospitals and all that. I am at the end of my career because I worked so many decades, right? And I have my own practice for a long time. I had a big practice which I built up myself. Everything, all the equipment, everything was there. Then I sold it off in 2019. I'm glad I did this. Afterwards, all those practices went down like anything because of the COVID. I just closed that in the I think April of 2019, and COVID broke in 20th January, I think. So from there, I'm glad I don't have to deal with so much of that. Later on, it would have been difficult. And then I opened a small practice in the neighboring state, and then only telehealth anyway. But that gave me a lot of choice to work on the lot of things I was always interested in that helped a lot. Stephanie, where are you now? Which part of country you come from?
Right.
I'm in Texas, Dr. Val. I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. I have friends there. There are a lot of people in Texas because it's a warm country, right? People go there. Yeah.
It's a very large state. Where are you located, Dr. Val?
Iowa, Clinton, Iowa, in the
Oh, wow.
middle of the school.
Cold down
Yeah,
here.
yeah. But we are used to that, Tiffany. There's something else with yoga. What happens is you will be able to tolerate these extremes of temperatures. So you kind of understand that you kind of develop the mental resolve and also not willpower, but then you understand raga dvesha. That means raga means something you get attracted to, and then when that is not there, you know hatred like for that, right? So that kind of thing will not be there. I'll tell you a story. This Ramana Maharshi is a sage I respect a lot. He had a visitor one time, and Ramana Maharshi lives in Tirunelveli, never left the town. He came there at the age of 16 or so, and he lived 50 years. Then later on, he died. But he never visited another town there. But that is in the middle of these hills, and the hills are very hot, right? In peak summer, it's very, very hot, 120 like that. But he was walking barefoot in those hills. So this visitor who comes here and he has could not walk without shoes. His feet are burning up, so he jumps to whatever shade he had on the way like that, right? But Ramana says, no, 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 don't do that. You just by being so resistant, you are attracting all the suffering. So he wants him to say, Namo Surya, that means I am the sun. The sun's energy is me. He wanted him to chant like that. And this man starts to do that. And after a while, he walk on that bare, hills also without any problem. And he retained that capacity. Some 20th and Ramana Maharshi, he was in Chennai, which is uh, one of the southern, big city, but it's very hot there too. And this guy was walking without any shoes, barefoot on that, very, very hot sun. His friend was very surprised. What are you doing? How can you walk like that? He told him the story, and that was published. Yeah, all these yoga people walk without any shoes, even in the Himalayas. Do you know that? They do. They never.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So what it is suppose for the pain, and I can tell this myself. When I had this, colonoscopy at the age of 50, they do a colonoscopy. I was fine, but then just wanted to do that. When they did it, I didn't have any anesthesia, and I was able to do it comfortably. And when I had this appendectomy and all that, and yeah, then when the appendectomy done,
Dr. Rao sir, I have a one like మా sister కి ఇట్లా పీరియడ్స్ రాకుండా మనం టాబ్లెట్స్ వేసుకుంటాం కదా లైక్
yeah,
ఫివోఫిప్స్.
yeah.
సో తను అడిగింది అనమాట లైక్ ఏది వేసుకోవాలి సార్.
No, no, I don't advise medical things here. I'm not supposed to because social media is not for that.
ఓ
So
సార్,
yeah, we're not.
సారీ సార్
Yeah,
సారీ ఇంటరప్షన్.
yeah. Let me tell you about this
ఓకే,
story.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
So what it is, the pain threshold of anybody can be increased a little bit at a time if you can bear a small pain and goes on increasing deeper pain like that. So that's what I was saying. I don't want to take any pain medications unless it's absolutely needed. So when I had that surgery, this came on, it was fighting with me. You should take it, it will be very painful for you otherwise. I said, no, I don't want to take any narcotics. I came out of it without anything like that. They were kind of thought I'm a freak or something. I'm not, because I just developed increased the pain threshold. What doing for the patient? Say, I don't want them to suffer. But at the same time, by reducing the pain threshold, we're making them unnecessary, habituation or tolerance or even addiction to the pain medications. I think that's one of the things they understand. You can. I've seen the ordinary folks in India when I was doing my medical school. These people used to come and then they had such a high threshold. They never took pain medications that easily, you know. But when I came to this country, when I saw everybody's asking for pain medications, I saw the contrast completely. I never wanted to lose my touch with the pain behaviors, and I kept them. I don't. I think it was probably in my entire life, maybe I've taken 2 or 3 times, maybe, you know. But otherwise, I have not taken. It's not that I didn't have. I was a cricketer, so I used to get beat up on my shins like anything with the balls, right? And also, to run and those things over there. But in the sports also, if you have an injury, you just bear it and go. Thereby, your pain threshold will be increased. So anybody who has the surgery and all that, instead of taking regularly, if the pain is very high, if they cut down one dose, they develop that pain threshold a little bit higher, and then you can take pain comfortably. See what it is pain is inevitable, but suffering from the pain is optional. Have you heard about that?
Wow.
See?
That's pretty
Yeah, this is a big deal for me because a lot of my patients didn't know this and they were made to take medications more than they needed to. And then some of them developed addiction, some of them suffered because of they were losing that pain threshold capacity. You know, that was very true with a lot of people. You know, it's a it's a question of have seen so many death addiction, and I kind of developed that philosophy. And then usually, if I go to hospital, if there are people who need narcotic medication, I go and visit and make sure they really need it. Then only I will get. But if somebody is not trained in this, they are really suffering a lot of pain. Then I don't withdraw the pain medication, but I'll give them. But if they are able to hold it, gladly I will hold it. Some of the addicts didn't like it because they don't want to go off the pain because they want to live in that la la land sometimes. They're weak, they kind of developed addiction. So you got to be compassionate for them. But then, even then, also, I saw that abuse of not build up the pain threshold really results in a lot of suffering. See, yoga teaches you how to develop this inner capacity of comfort or all the way to the suffering. You know, it's not that you overcome suffering; it is just that you transcend the suffering, and then life will be very, blissful life. That is something they always talk about. But if people are happy if they do some couple of asanas, couple of postures, and breathing and little meditation. But yoga has so much capacity. Have you heard this comparison I used to make? If you do the real yoga, you are flying in the sky. But if you do only physical yoga or breathing, it's like your wings are chopped off and you are taxiing on the airport, in the airport.
yeah, no, I haven't heard that before, but
Yeah.
I have heard that, there's
Yeah.
different
Yes.
types of yoga. It's not just the
Yes.
one type that we all think of.
Yes. There is a yoga for action, yoga for devotion, yoga for energy, yoga for concentration, yoga for knowledge, yoga for energy. And the highest one is the knowledge yoga. That means by having knowledge, having the knowledge of yourself, you can really go into this extreme suffering. And also, not only that, you have this continuous blissfulness within you. That is the highest we can think of. They call it in Sanskrit Athyadika Dukha Nivrutti. And then the Athyadika means excessive, Dukha means suffering, Nivrutti means transcending that or preventing that. Paramananda means Parama means dream, Ananda means bliss, Prapti you get that. These two benefits are the highest, but people are just happy, just a little bit of asanas and all. That's okay, they can start there. But I feel sometimes sorry because missing out on something very valuable. You know, martial arts is like that. It's not just yoga. If you take Japanese or Chinese martial arts, they are excellent. They have also the same principle. Because I know yoga, I talk about that, but I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee, not for his fights, but he's a philosopher, and for his philosophy and what he did. Yeah, he's a philosopher. He's a wonderful philosopher.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. What happened to him was he was fighting and he got hurt, and then the back was hurt, right? So he went around the hospitals, got MRIs done, and all that. The motor medicine told him, "You are not going to walk again." This was before he made the enter the dragon, right? And then he was to rest for 6 months. So he has to take some menial job, and then they had to survive somehow. But what he did during the 6 months was he was a uh, philosophy major, I think. Know. So he always had research. Then he went back to one gentleman that I know. His name is J. Krishnamurti, and Krishnamurti is like a uh, tells you what is real thought, what you can use for practices, and when the thought becomes a problem for you, right? So when he was, alone by himself, no visitors, nothing, he was studying all day. Then he was using his own Chinese methods to get better from the back injury, but still he had the wheelchair and all that. But his mind was released um, by Krishnamurti's philosophy. He understood that. He went into it, he understood. And your own mind be your own obstacle. But he was released from his own mind. That is, in yoga, this is called concentration yoga. There's so many steps, 8 steps to that. But then that's also called Raja Yoga, Raja King. There's a king of yoga. When you can turn your head, your mind, not head, your mind on itself and study the mechanisms of that. I did that. That's why I know what is they're talking about.
Wow.
You got to go through your own mind.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting and very profound thing. So you study your own mind, turning the mind on itself, and then released from mind's inhibitions or fears or anything like that. His thing was they put in his mind that he is not able to walk again. But that kind of if he did not let it sink in and let understood the mechanism of and you remember it one thing he says, be like water, my friend. See, water goes wherever it can go, right? If it is resistance, it goes over it and slightly rolls over, right? Water takes birth in some mountains and comes down, goes over the land and all the obstacles and then it goes into the sea. It is very restless till it goes and merges with the sea. The mind is like that. It has this restlessness and it has to go and conquer all the obstacles that its own thoughts, its own beliefs, its own conclusions place it on itself, and then go and meet where you came from. That is the silence. And that is the sea. In the bottom, so much silence, right? Only superficial waves will be there. So you kind of control all those, and then you meet the depth of yourself. This within you, the silence. There and touch it, it's enormously comfortable. You know. Anyway, I think this look is so trick, but it is really true. It can happen. And then see what happened to Bruce Lee. He came and then practiced and also got into Enter the Dragon, became and all that. Unfortunately, he had an allergy, you know. So that was something unfortunate. But otherwise, he whatever he did, other thing he did very very fascinating to me was I think few years before he died, Tiffany, he wrote exactly at what time he's going to accomplish what. That was amazing, to the day he was doing everything. For example, he did something like, I'm going to develop this 1 inch by this date. He did, and so he's so focused.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a very fascinating story. That's why I said I'm a real fan of Bruce Lee because of this.
Yeah, I've never heard any of this before, Dr.
There is a documentary, Tiffany. You have to documentary on Bruce Lee. His wife also talks about Krishnamurti and all that. He released it because generally what he does is he doesn't give you instruction, make you think for yourself. He make you come to the
Right.
conclusion everything by yourself. So that's what Bruce Lee liked, and also the Chinese other people wanted to restrict his uh, skills of martial arts not to be distributed to anybody that is not Chinese. But Bruce Lee was so liberated, he kind of wanted everybody to get rid of this martial arts, be healthy and all that.
Right.
Yeah, but he did it. Worldwide, several millions of people did this karate or kung fu, whatever he's doing. Jin Kando, I think, something like that. Art of fighting with fight is what it is. And a lot of people's health was really improved by that. So I have a lot of admiration for Bruce Lee also. Apart from the sages that I do, I kind of give the second place to Bruce Lee, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out this
Yeah,
documentary.
yeah. That,
That's pretty good.
it aired on the PBS at one time. You know, I don't know the name of, but actual Bruce Lee's documentary. I've seen the other movies made on him, but this one is really made for the PBS. And his wife Linda, she came and she talked about him, and his friends talked about his producer and all that. And then he actual interviews he gave, they also came through. Even if you see that Enter the Dragon in the first few minutes, he talks to this kid and tells a lot of philosophy there. He says, if you look at the moon, when the guy looking at the finger that is pointer, they say finger, then you'll miss all the glory of the moon. That's like a perfection is out there for mind, which is little, and you'll never be able to see. You got to go beyond and then see that.
Wow.
Yeah. The people who know the philosophy, you see the Enter the Dragon first few minutes, that will be very, very nice. You see, he goes to the grave of his mother and sister, I think, or father and sister, and says, I know you don't approve of what I'm going to do, because he was going to go and kill that guy, right? That person who did. But their uh, parents or the sister or like they are only for defense, not to use the skills for offense. So there's so much philosophy behind Bruce Lee's life. You got all excited. I always get excited whenever I think of Bruce Lee. So he flows up to the. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Any comments? Like I said, I got this new wellness club started. This is with the intention of interactive sessions with my club members. They will be getting this Facebook be a pal group, and then I'll be meeting them exclusively so that I can spend quality time with them and also do some stuff with them like a tribe. And also I can share my library, my music library, and all that. And also this kind of stories that I just shared with Tiffany about Bruce Lee. There are so many people that are really living full, Tiffany, completely, because they are not conditioned or restricted by their own mind.
Right. The mind is powerful.
Powerful, yeah, that's what it is. Everybody knows that we are actually limiting ourselves by listening to it. See, there's something in yoga language. They don't want to talk about the limitations. They want to talk about the possibilities. People outside would want us to sympathize for their limitations that they have cultivated, and then they want us to show empathy. We may show empathy, but we will know that they can do better. They can transcend those limitations and reach for the possibilities. And the possibilities are endless sometimes. But you cannot go like that, but at least you have to transcend the limitations. This is very important in rehab, Tiffany, because I think rehab that we give is very little and is not really effective too, because they do half an hour in it and that's it. Go beyond that. So uh, you have to give them effective, continuous rehab. Then only they will be able to do that. A lot of people don't do enough rehab when they have a fracture, when they have a. Young people do automatically they come, but the older people, they kind of let them sit in the chair for a long time, and they develop fibrosis of the joints and the muscles, and that's not good at all. So I think Aditya is here. Hi Aditya, how are you? Hello.
Hello, sir, and hello everyone. First of all, morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
How are you?
And I'm good, sir.
You have a question or
I'm
comment?
audible.
Aditya?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I have just a question that what I can do to avoid like such kind of um, like I mean, I do think about like my daily day, like I mean, like I have to do study and all other things, but this overthinking gives
Ah,
me like 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 I don't like how to frame this. It just makes me like the whole day like in a disturbed way. Like I mean, when I'm doing like a thinking on this, so I can't focus on work which I'm
yeah,
doing right now. So in that
yeah,
way, I hope I have.
yeah, yeah. You don't have the focus. That's what we are trying to do. And then too many thoughts come up and you can
Yeah,
concentrate.
yeah.
Start very simple. Adi. Don't aim for a big one. So all you do is, first of all, try to put the devices away 1 hour before you go to sleep. Okay. And also in the morning, don't touch them for 1 hour. The first 1 hour you are vulnerable. No? And then what you do is you just sit down with the back straight, close your eyes, and focus on the breath. And do that for a couple of weeks. Only that, focus on the breath. If the thoughts go away from it, bring that back. Your focus should be back to the breath. You do that for 5 to 15 minutes, whatever you can do. Even 1 minute is also okay. But you can't like that. But do that every day at the same time, if possible. Put everything aside. Don't reach for the phone. Don't reach for anything.
Okay, sir.
5 to 15 minutes in the morning before you start anything, and also at the end of the day when you put all the work. Do that, and then you will advance slowly. I will tell you other steps later on. But first, you get your focus together, concentration together. This is what you need. Okay. And a lot
Right, sir.
don't start.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad you even noticed this and you want to. Focus is very important to study anything or to learn anything or to enjoy anything. So whatever you do,
Yes.
attention to that act, just be in the present. That will help you a lot. But first, start
Yes, sir.
with concentration, and then couple of weeks later, ask me something else, and I can tell you. These are the things that I want to discuss in my wellness club. Improve focus, improve sleep quality, improve tone of the body, improve conversation, improve expression. There's things like that, right? So we got to talk about all that. Right. There's so many people. Anybody come up and
Thank you so much, sir.
yeah, Aditya. Tiffany, you have anything else, or you can be close it now?
No, Dr. I can go ahead and close it. Thank you so much.
Okay. I hope to see you, some of you, in the wellness club tomorrow morning. But later on also is okay. I will be opening 6 o'clock in the central time on the Zoom. Okay. Thank you much. I'll see you then.